Wednesday all day.
All
right?
day long.
Okay, all day long. I just confirmed it. That's what she says. Anyway, this is Wednesday. It is December the 4th already. Can you believe that? This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Hello, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Woo! Oh, boy.
That's right.
That is right.
Getting closer and closer to the weekend, and we have so many things to choose from this weekend.
There's a lot going on.
You have a long list, so I hope you're ready with your pen and pencil today to take notes.
That's right. We have 3
Christmas
Christmas
parades.
parades. We have bazaars, and that's bizarre. At Wayne Center and at the Senior Center.
That's
and
right.
There's stuff going on. There's a pancake breakfast.
2 pancake breakfasts going on that we know about.
Right.
Yeah, one in Mount Olive.
Yes.
One here in Goldsboro, Boys and Girls Club, so the list goes on and on.
I'm telling you, I love this time of year.
I do too. It's fun.
Oh, yeah, it is fun. Okay. By the
What
way,
else
it's
is happening?
National Cookie Day.
Today?
Woo!
Well, let's get a cookie.
I'm ready. Special Kids Day and World Wildlife Conservation Day. Oh, boy.
All right.
Take
Thank
a
you, Wayne.
wildlife to lunch.
And eat a cookie while you're there.
Yeah, and have a cookie. All right, what you got?
Let's see. Don't forget trolley rides, horse-drawn trolley
I love
rides.
that. Yeah.
Every Tuesday are being offered between now and December the 27th from 6 until 8 p.m. You can meet on the corner of Center and Mulberry. You'll see the little sign there that says trolley rides. Are you trying to do the same thing I'm doing?
I can't keep up with you. You're just too quick. I just can't keep up
But
with
it's
you.
such a nice, special little event, little treat to have downtown. Doesn't cost you a thing. And you get to ride around with your family, see the beautiful Christmas lights, and it's just really, really a nice event.
Lots of fun. We
Every
did that
Tuesday
last year,
through
yeah.
Christmas.
I'm telling you, I love that. All right, December 4th birthdays. Today's the birthday of one Jay-Z. He is a rapper.
Who is married to Beyonce, I believe.
Is he?
I believe so.
Is that Jay-Z? Married to Beyonce? Okay. He's won over 16 Grammys.
Wow.
Sold over 50 million albums. And if I heard his music today, I wouldn't know who he was.
Really?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's all right.
And I'm not.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Yeah. And there's some rap I like. You know, I like a little bit of everything. Tyra Banks is having a birthday. She's 40 today. The lovely lady is. Birthday today also for Jeff Bridges. Became known for starring in The Big Lebowski, True Grit, Crazy Heart. Jeff Bridges. That's Lloyd's little baby boy, but he's 64 today, so he's not much of a little baby boy. Jeff Bridges, 64. Used to watch his dad on Sea Hunt back in the
Sea Hunt?
Sea Hunt was the name of the show. It was,
Okay.
It was about, well, you had to be there.
Okay. You had to be there. We weren't there.
Skin diving.
What kind of diving?
Skin diving.
Skin diving.
Okay, they called it skin diving, but
What does that mean?
The guy wore an aqua lung on his back and wore a face mask, and it was an underwater television program.
Okay.
Very popular. Lloyd Bridges was the star back in the late 50s, early 60s. I'm so old.
No, you're not. No, you're
okay,
not.
anyway, Jeff and his brother Bo, they do a tremendous job. They're
yes,
very
for
talented
sure.
guys. Anyway, Jeff is 64 today. Marissa Tomei is 49 today. She won an Academy Award for her role in My Cousin Vinny as Mona Lisa Vito.
Yeah, she is a funny character actress.
Yes. Wink Martindale actually had a hit, sang a song and had a hit back in the 60s called House of Cards.
Okay.
And it actually made it to the charts and did a good job with it. But since, he's been a TV game show host for many years, including shows like Boggle and Tic-Tac-Doe.
Okay.
Wink Martindale, 79 today. There you go, birthdays.
Happy birthday if it is your special day.
That's it, yeah. All right.
Let's see.
Let's see.
This weekend, I want to remind you the Nutcracker Ballet will be at the Paramount Theater. It's their 32nd annual production. Tickets are available at the box office for the Paramount Theater. So if you are interested, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're interested in going to the Christmas show, the Nutcracker Ballet, the Paramount's the place to get the tickets. And the next weekend is A Christmas Carol.
Really?
Yeah, the Christmas Carol, and that's being put on by Center Stage Theater.
Really?
Their 6th annual production. That's right.
How about
So just about every weekend at the Paramount, you have something you can attend. There's something for everyone there.
Something for everyone there.
That's
okay.
right.
And speaking of something for everyone, we need to move on.
Yes,
we're going
we
to
do.
start our interviews now. Who are we talking with?
Let's see. Who are
We
we
speak
talking
with Dr. Stephen Peters of Cherry Hospital, and we're going to talk about bugs with Jessica Strickland of the Cooperative Extension Service.
Can't wait to hear about these bugs.
Oh, yeah. studio, Dr. Stephen Peters, who is the head of psychology at Cherry Hospital. And thank you for being with us.
Hey, Wayne, always good to be here.
Man, I tell you, I love for you to come in and talk to us because you bring a lot of insight into this.
Well, thank you.
To our program. Steve, my concern, or what I've been thinking a lot about lately as I get older, and of course I guess everyone else is as well, you reach that point in life where you forget where you put your car keys, you forget where you left your coffee, and age, of course, people start losing things and they forget things. Memory loss is a concern to many people. Now, does age really have an effect or have a cause of, is one of the causes of memory loss, or where would we start in talking about this?
Yeah, and so that gets to be a big concern when we start thinking about dementia and the possibilities of dementia.
Yes.
You know, and that memory loss is kind of what I think of as the cornerstone for a diagnosis of dementia. It's not enough of it in and of itself to say, well, if you have a memory impairment, that is a dementia. That's not really true. But if it's a memory loss and one other additional, or maybe multiple additional important brain functions, then we start kind of thinking that maybe this is the beginning of a dementia or the presence of a dementia.
So memory loss by itself is not necessarily dementia, because everybody forgets things.
Yeah, and so having a little bit of short-term memory loss, hey, where did I park, where did I put my keys, what was that phone number I was supposed to call, a little bit of that, and that just sort of comes with a lot of intrusion can eat away at that. Some stress, some you know, things, the file cabinet gets full.
Yes,
There's just a lot in there that you're trying to keep up with.
And you're trying to sort it all out.
And I can't access that particular bit of information, but it might be in there somewhere.
All right. Yeah. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And so it's really accessing the information that's in your brain somewhere. And that's kind of what memory loss is. I can't get to that information that I know I have somewhere. And so as a dementia starts to occur and starts to have its presentation, you know, and there, just to stop for a second, you know, there are about 30 types of dementia.
Really?
When, you know, of course, Alzheimer's type is what we know and hear a lot about, the Alzheimer's Association, and there's a lot of research going on about the assessment and treatment of Alzheimer's disease. And that probably makes up, you know, probably more than 60% of dementia.
Yes.
Is Alzheimer's type.
I know there's several. I didn't realize there were 30.
There's about 30.
Near 30.
Yeah.
That's quite a few. How do they differ?
Yeah. They differ in sort of the type of symptoms that they have, and somewhat in the cause. For example, the second most common type of dementia is vascular dementia. You've had a stroke. You've had a number of little strokes that sort of have the circulatory system in your brain has failed you, whether you've had a bleeder or a clot or something. And so now you've had some vascular problems, and that's vascular dementia.
Okay.
And so it might look very much like Alzheimer's at some point, but what's causing it is very different.
And therein lies the difference.
Therein lies the difference in those two categories.
There's a Crutchfield or
Crutchfield-Jacobs disorder.
Yes, exactly. That's another.
Yes, and if we went down to the list, there are about 30. A colleague and I sit at the hospital one day, and I think we got up to 28. we could remember.
Wow.
But what happens is after you hit Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, one or two others, that probably makes up 95, 96%. And the other subtypes are so rare that you really hear very little about them, or they're really not something that you would see in typical day-to-day conversations.
I think many of us have seen the photographs of the brain of an Alzheimer's patient. It seems to be reducing in size, or it's just eaten away.
Yeah, over the course of Alzheimer's, you know, there's this plaque that develops. It's described as sort of looks like Elmer's glue. It's that consistency and
Wow.
it's that kind of idea. That if you looked at autopsy, you would see that. There's definitely some shrinkage or atrophy of the cortex.
Right.
So you see some of that. You know, what I think is remarkable just about Alzheimer's, you know, it's about a 12-year progression on average for, based on, depends on when we first diagnosed it, of course.
Right.
You diagnosed it early or you diagnosed it a little bit late. But that 12-year progression often is an important thing to be aware of. And are we at the beginning of it, we're in the middle of it, or we are in the later days of Alzheimer's illness?
Now, there's some, I believe vascular dementia is, the reaction is a lot faster.
It could be. And what you see is, what we like to point out to folks is that with vascular dementia, you may see these stair steps, sort of stair steps down.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of dementias, it's a very slow pathway and very subtle over a good number of years perhaps. Vascular dementia, you may have been okay yesterday and today
Wow.
you dropped down, and then a month or so later you took another drop down and another drop down, and so they're a pretty dramatic stair step progression to as we understand how did this come about. Well, it's been gradual over time. No, it looks like it was.
I've seen that. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
it's and the family confused that issue with thinking it was Alzheimer's when it was actually, there's actually a big difference there.
Yeah, and what's nice about it, because some of these disorders are really difficult to really assess and to make that differential diagnosis and really figure out which one and what are we dealing with here. But with vascular dementia, MRI, CAT scan, let's get a good image of the brain and let's see how that vascular structure looks.
Is this natural? Is there something that you do earlier in life that could contribute to this?
Well, there's a lot we do not know about all of the dementias. Some of them have a strong genetic link. Some of them have just a little bit of a genetic link. Some of them seem to play a part in certainly things like blood pressure and cholesterol, if you're talking about vascular dementia.
Right.
So that's really important considerations for someone's early health and sort of health maintenance. Other things in terms of what, for Alzheimer's disease, we have chased a lot of ideas. Back in the day, I think probably when I first started in this area, we talked a lot about aluminum cookware.
Yes.
That as you're cooking and stirring an aluminum cook pot, maybe a little bit of that aluminum is getting in there, and maybe that aluminum is bad for you. That, in fact, it was the folks at Duke that were very instrumental, and as a lot of other big research centers like Duke, and we've eliminated that as an idea actually many years ago.
Really?
That you can cook on aluminum cook pots all you want. You can drink out of aluminum pop cans.
Yes.
That aluminum has nothing to do with Alzheimer's disease.
Wow. Well, now what about, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but now there's aluminum products used in a lot of personal care products, such as the deodorants and such.
Sure, all of that. And best we can tell that aluminum and Alzheimer's disease
no connection.
Have nothing to do with each other.
It may be something else, but not Alzheimer's.
Exactly.
Wow.
And whether those products are good for you or not, that's another debate.
Yeah, you decide.
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with Alzheimer's disease.
Okay.
And so there have been other pursuits like that to say, well, perhaps it's another part of our diet, or perhaps it's another. And I think we've yet to really understand what's the progression of this. Why are some people prone to it? Yeah, there's that genetic factor that if somebody in the family, grandparents, parents have had Alzheimer's disease, the prevalence or possibility might be a little bit higher, but it's not like a genetically linked disorder where grandpa had it, dad had it. Guess what? You're going to get it.
Yeah.
Like we do see in some genetically linked disorders.
It's interesting that we are as far along as we are since Dr. Alzheimer's discovered this condition, and we are eons beyond where we were. And prior to that, though, this was, what did they call this, senility, or they call it?
Senility. Other types of dementia have, I think we've understood dementia as a class, a very broad class of a disease of the elderly folks.
Yeah.
But and that's been around in sort of medical terminology for a long time, but the actual description of it, the subtypes, and let alone the causes or the treatments have been long in coming. You know, there are some medications out that are for people who can tolerate and have a good reaction to it, because they are kind of tricky sometimes. It really kind of help mitigate the symptoms of a dementia. So we help, it's a management, and we haven't found much yet that impacts the progression.
Oh.
So that's an important thing to think about. While we treat the symptoms and make the person perhaps a little more functional for a while, more comfortable by all means, a little more easy to manage, the progression might still be there just the same.
Yeah.
And so that's important for caregivers to be aware of.
All right. Gee whiz, there are Alzheimer's organizations. There's all sorts of information on the internet.
Right.
I think you really need to be careful where you go on the internet, though, because there's also some wrong information.
Correct.
On the internet.
Yeah, and so
where would be a good place to go?
Well, I always think getting back to your primary care provider, talk to your physician, talk to your healthcare provider about your concerns. If you have a loved one in the family, that is this just normal aging? But if it's memory loss and now some motor coordination or impulse control problems, or now we've got a second problem that you've noticed, now that might have something to do, and needs to be talked about for the possible exploring a dementia issue.
All right, very good. Some good information. Dr. Stephen Peters, Head of Psychology at Cherry Hospital. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you.
Today we're talking with Jessica Strickland of the Cooperative Extension Service. Hello.
Hey. Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you are.
Doing good. We're going to talk about kudzu bugs. We have had a lot of questions, a lot of problems past month or so with kudzu bugs.
Why are kudzu bugs such a problem?
Kudzu bugs, they're a new insect. They kind of came in from Georgia. In the past couple of years, have been starting to show up in North Carolina. And they are from Asia, which is where kudzu's from. And they feed off kudzu, but they feed off other things like soybeans, other types of bean plants. Wisteria is a good one that they like.
Oh boy. And
but the real issue is that as we get colder weather, and they're looking for warm places to go, they tend to find houses that have light color siding. They're attracted to light colors like white.
Yeah.
So especially if you're in an area where there is a lot of them, they tend to show up in masses on doors and windows of people's homes, and even starting to get inside. And so they're really creating a lot of problem.
They're getting inside houses.
Yeah, and what you can see there, they're kind of have this square-shaped body, kind of brown or olive color, and they emit an odor like stink bug. They're related to the stink bug, and so they have that smell like a stink bug does.
Oh yeah, okay. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not really worried that it was okay. Okay, so it's they have a little bit of a foul fragrance.
They do.
Okay.
And the hard part is just that they're being a nuisance really. As far as causing a problem to plants or causing any direct harm to a house or plants or somebody, they don't really do that. They can damage bean plants, that's in the bean family, like soybeans and some of your other types of beans.
All right.
But they don't seem to cause all problems except just being a nuisance, just being an aggravation.
Just an aggravation.
Right.
So they get in people's houses and then they start becoming real pests and they smell.
And it seems like when the weather warms up or whenever there's some light colored siding, whether it's the side of a house or a car that's white, driveways or sidewalks that are white in color, they're very attracted to those light colors and also attracted to the warmth also.
Okay.
And so with cold weather, that will help reduce the number. But when we get a little time of warm weather,
Yeah.
and then they tend to show back up.
And I see they fly.
They do. They fly. They're in masses. They tend, they stay clustered together often, and
So they're out in the studio now, flying around. So what's going to happen here in the studio? Anything at all?
nothing really. As far as what people can do, the hard part is.
What do you do with these things?
The hard part is these are a new insect. So
they're new insects.
They are. They're new. They think they came through Georgia, through Atlanta.
You're
and
kidding.
It's how they got to the United States from Asia, and they've just gradually making their way north. And unfortunately, they're an insect that they've not had much luck in finding some control measures for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the insecticides you would spray just seem to kind of discourage them a little bit, and then the next day they're back again.
Oh, great.
So some of your like pyrethroid insecticides are recommended, but they're not really recommended to spray in a home situation because it's just, you're ending up spending a lot of time and money and also putting a pesticide out there when it's really not going to help because it might discourage them, and then they'll come back the next day.
Okay. Well, they're little tiny boogers, aren't they?
They are. Some of the things you can try to do is just simply vacuum them. If they do get in your homes, vacuum them away from the window sills and doors, and then either dump those insects you can. If you could freeze them or drown them, that could kill them, instead of just dumping them out where they'll fly and come back again. The other thing is make sure that you have your house windows and doors sealed well, so they don't get through cracks and crevices into the home. Some things like that but they are going to be a nuisance or a problem. A lot of people's frustrated with them. Unfortunately, there's research and things going on trying to figure out what can be done for them.
Yeah.
But for a while here, they're going to be a pest that's going to create some headache for a lot of people.
Well.
And unfortunately, people that have those light-colored homes, they really can end up with large numbers of them to have to deal with.
Now, I know you probably covered this, but will they freeze? I mean, can you throw them out?
You can, and really this is what I should have done with these and didn't even think about it, is when I collected them in a Ziploc bag, is put them in the freezer to kill them that way, and then we wouldn't have to worry about them flying around.
That would have been a humane thing to do.
Yeah, and that, or just simply putting them into some water. Can help also.
Now, are these rascals going to get in here and bother me?
No, probably not. I mean, it is one or two.
Okay,
and,
one or two
so
is
they
not going to
probably
be a
won't last too long.
Okay, I need to get a fly swatter. I
Usually,
guess.
what's the major problem with them is they show up in masses.
Oh, that's when they become a big problem.
That's when they're usually a big problem.
Okay.
So some places, darker colored homes and so forth, will see maybe just a few here and there. That light colored siding, for whatever reason, they're attracted to light colors.
Attracted to light colors. Okay.
Yeah.
So paint your house
and also,
dark.
in warmth too. So when the sun comes out and it warms up a little bit on the side of a house, that's creating a good situation for them.
All right. Well, I can hardly wait to get rid of these.
Yeah, it's not great news, and I know it's very frustrating, discouraging for people.
And oftentimes people will bring things in on purpose, but they didn't bring these in on purpose.
No, these just somehow
hitchhiked in.
Yeah, somehow these just hitched a ride in. They think it came through airport in Atlanta. Is how they might have came in, but it wasn't anything intentionally released.
Okay, well, I guess it's just one of those things we have to deal with, I guess.
Afraid so for a while until we kind of learn more about the insect, and there's ways maybe figured out later on that will help with them.
I'm not one to complain, but this is another good reason to buy indigenous plants.
Right. Well, and it's like the plants they're attracted to, like kudzu, wisteria. Those are from Asia also.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
well, what do you do?
Yeah. So there's a connection there.
Of course, yeah. Kudzu is not natural to this area.
No, it's not.
Either.
It's not a native plant.
Somebody brought that in from the Orient.
Yeah. And your wisteria, when we talk about wisteria, we're talking about the Chinese wisteria, the one that's not native. They're
of course
attracted to that. There is some different kinds of wisteria. But
all right.
Yeah.
All right, Jessica. Anyone who may have a problem or a question about these kudzu bugs should call your office.
Yes, they can. They can call our office at 919-731-1520.
Okay, I've got 731-1525 on
Our
the
number
screen.
has changed, It's just recently changed a few months ago, so now it's 1520.
1520.
Yes. But if you still call it 1525, we'll get you directed. We'll get you connected.
Call 731-1520 to talk to Jessica Strickland, the horticulture agent for the county of Wayne here with the Cooperative Extension Service. All right. Well, I see fewer and fewer of them. Apparently, they're all taking off here.
So we better
right.
wrap them up here.
Go get the spray. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Jessica.
yes, you're
All right.
welcome.
Tell you what, every time Dr. Peters is in the studio here, I learn something. He is just such a great guy with such good information.
He certainly is.
Yeah, and of course, watch out for those kudzu bugs,
You
all right?
think?
Well, they won't hurt you, but they can be annoying. So
Yeah.
anyway, they're working on that over the
It
Cooperative
is
Extension.
strange how
It
they're
is strange.
it's so inundated in Wayne County.
It is. It is. Of course, they're working their way up from the south, and they're creating a problem for themselves. Now,
What else is happening?
what else is happening? Woo.
Let's see. That's already happened.
Has that already happened?
That's already happened.
Well.
Oh, you know what?
What?
If you would like for your child or your grandchild, or if you would like a call from Santa, you can get a call from Santa between the dates of December the 9th and the 12th.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
You can. Goldsboro Parks and Rec is putting this on. Let's see. You must register by December the 4th. Oh, goodness. That's today. Yes. You must register today to receive a phone call
Okay.
scheduled between the 9th and the 12th of December.
Okay.
Registration forms can be picked up from Goldsboro Parks and Rec, or you can give them a call and they can do it by phone for you. This is scheduled on a specific day and time of your choosing between the 9th and the 12th of December. So give them a call if you want a call from Santa.
There you go. And we have a bazaar at the Senior Center. A Christmas bazaar open to everyone. Starts at 9 o'clock this Saturday morning before the Christmas parades get
Okay.
underway. And you can shop until noon. They're going to be selling photo cards, cookbooks, scarves, aprons, fleece blankets, pecan pies, and hats, and jewelry, and frames, and crafts, and crocheted stuff, knitted stuff, collectibles.
Collectibles?
Collectibles. Well, never mind. And baked goods. And that starts at 9 o'clock at the Senior Center this Saturday. Oh, boy.
Well, let's remind them the rundown of the parades this weekend.
Okay, go ahead.
So you've got 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is the Mount Olive Christmas Parade.
Mount Olive Christmas Parade, 10 o'clock.
2 o'clock,
2 o'clock.
Fremont Christmas Parade.
Fremont,
4 o'clock,
4 o'clock.
Goldsboro Christmas Parade.
Goldsboro.
Wayne and I'll be in there. Give us a wave. You'll see the Wgtv car. That morning, you can, if you're in Goldsboro, you can go by. They would love to have you at the Boys and Girls Club on Royal Avenue
Yes.
and attend their pancake breakfast. That starts at 7 a.m. If you're in the Mount Olive area, you can go by Highway 55
right?
Burgers and Shakes. I went blank there for a minute. Highway 55 Burgers and Shakes. They have a pancake breakfast also before the Mount Olive Christmas Parade starts.
I go blank all the time.
That starts at 7 o'clock as well.
Good.
So if you're going to that parade, go eat a little bit of pancake. Benefits a great cause, all
Yeah.
for the Chamber of Commerce, and then watch the Mount Olive Christmas Parade.
Wow.
That was a
Just
mouthful.
That was a mouthful. That's a lot going on right there. And of course, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to tell you about more things going on in the area.
That's right.
We'll have more interviews for you tomorrow. So please join us. It starts tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, and then the show will repeat at noon, and then again at 5:30 p.m. So please join us. And
That's
until tomorrow,
right.
I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.